how are you doing? Good morning, and thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about how to resolve conflicts in marriage, relationship. Just a few tips that I want to talk about today. So, I think an intro to this conversation will be that an obvious fact or an obvious truth that marriage is between a man and a woman, two people coming from two different backgrounds, two different orientations, two different thought processes, two different temperaments, two different everything, basically coming together to be one. So definitely there will be conflict in your relationship, whether you've been married for 20 years, 50 years, 1 year, 6 months, 5 days. No matter how long you've been married, no matter how little or irrelevant, there will be conflict. Now, depends, obviously the scales will vary depending again on your temperament and your personalities. The scale of the conflict will vary. The effect of it on your relationship will also vary, but definitely there'll be conflicts in marriage. And my tip number one that I'll be sharing today is there is no enemy. Yes, you need to always remember that. So if you have an issue, conflict with your partner, if you're having an argument or you're disagreeing over a particular matter or issue, you need to remember that you are on the same you're on the same side, you're on the same team. There is no enemy in the room. There's no enemy in the building, or your partner is not the enemy. If there is an enemy, the enemy is whatever the issue is, or the devil trying to cause dispute. So you need to, because sometimes when couples have issues, they go, oh, he's a devil. You remember that this is the person that you said for better for worse to. This is the person that you declared to the whole world that you love. So always remember that when you're like at your worst, just remember that person. Remember that it's not about the person, it's about the issue, the conflict, the problem that you guys need to sort out. That's tip number one. Tip number two, when you're having your conversation, is always good to talk about things like that. Have a conversation. So tip number two, have a conversation. Do not sweep anything under the carpet. Always make sure you talk about stuff. Now, again, depending on the personalities involved, the time, the place has to be right. Some people like to just trash out the issues there and then. Some people like to sit on it for a while, calm down so they don't say things they do not mean. Because the truth is, if you approach an issue in anger, you end up saying things you don't mean, and at the end of the day that conflict will not be resolved. It will spiral out of control. So it's always important to be in the right headspace. Think about what the issue is clearly, state your own view, and while you're doing that, understand that your partner might not agree with you, and it's okay to agree to disagree to agree at the end of the day. So I'm afraid, because of time constraints, because I gotta be somewhere else, that's the much that I can take this morning. But please come back again for another short clip on just something random. And it's yours truly, dear Randomly Jesus. Cheerio.